Well, this is an interesting one because everywhere you go now, this is after funnels is the buzzword in the world of marketing, content marketing. Is it really effective? Is it worth the effort? Should people be doing it?
Yeah, I think they should. I just think that we all consume content all of the time. We are literally going about our lives consuming content all of the time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And as a business, the more people that know about you, the better you're likely to get on. If lots of people know who you are, what you do, who you help, how you help them, if they're familiar with you, then there's much more chance they're going to select you to do business with at some point than if they are unfamiliar. And studies have even shown that if you are in the news, for example, and it's a bad news story, something bad has happened, and you're in the news in a negative sense, months later, years later, because you were in the news, people have a higher, they hold you in a higher esteem than they otherwise would, simply because they're familiar with you. They trust you more because they've heard of you. Perversely, they've only heard of you because you did something terrible. So if you can get people's attention, then you build that trust with them, you build that familiarity. They'll feel like they've got more of a bond, more of a relationship with you than they have with anybody else in your market. And the number one way of getting that attention is by creating content, by getting that interesting content in front of them. They've got, in many cases, insatiable demand for interesting content. People love to be entertained, they love to be educated, they love to watch videos and read stuff. They're easily distracted, they should be doing work, something pops up, they're checking the BBC News website, they are avidly consuming content. If you're not producing any, but other people in your industry are, then you're falling behind, because those are the people that are benefiting from that sense of familiarity when you're not there. Creating content is as easy as recording a video, writing something, getting it into people's inboxes, running some Facebook ads, putting it on a page on Facebook, dropping it onto LinkedIn, doing a Facebook Live. There are so many ways of creating content, and they're very, very easy, very, very quick. We've got a client that's recently started doing very, very regular Facebook Lives, and I think they're going really, really well. She's really, really good at them.
Traffic.
Getting a lot of traffic on the back of it. It's just so easy. Pick up phone, record. That's content creation. You don't need a marketing team. You don't need a bank of copywriters. You don't need a professional videographer. You just need to create some content, and you're going to get more attention than you otherwise would. So yeah, I'm going to say it is extremely effective. Essential? No. Effective? Yes.
I think the big thing to make it effective is you've got to have audience as well. I think a lot of people, I think this is when it's kind of like a crossover, isn't there, between social media posting and content, because that's typically the platform that it would go on. And I think one mistake a lot of people do is they go into the content production, but they don't think enough about audience. For example, there's no point in putting on a big kind of play or production if there's only two people sitting in the crowd. You want to at least make sure it's half full before you started. And so I think a lot of, before you start doing this, you should think about how many people are going to see it. How can I grow the audience? How can I make sure that more people do see it, whether that's through paid, whether that's through emailing out, or whether it's through other avenue. But the other thing that's interesting that I like about content marketing, and there's two more points I want to make. The first is, for me, it's like brand marketing for small businesses. If you think back to before digital age, if you wanted to constantly put content out, you either needed you needed a PR agency, didn't you, to basically get in publications.
Yep.
And if you wanted to advertise in those publications, you needed deep pockets. Whereas the introduction of social has allowed people to do that brand style marketing, even though it's through content and education, for an affordable, because you don't need to pay for it in a lot of senses. You just need to get there, put the content out and get there and publish it. And then the third thing, it was something interesting that you said when you were talking then. You spoke about if you're not doing this and people in your industry are, then you're going to fall behind. And I think one of the big points here is some people are fearful of starting doing content marketing because they see the content marketing that marketing agencies do, such as ourselves and experts and all those kind of people, because that's where you're surrounded. And they think, I can't produce that, so I'm not going to start because mine's not going to be good enough. But the reality is that you actually only need to be better than the people in your space. So we talk, Paul Blexon is a great example here, who runs a marine engine. Paul runs a marine engineering business based in Colchester, and his audience are superintendents who look after the maintenance of ships. Now, his content marketing is not kind of high-end videos. It's not all singing, dancing, flashing light productions. It's just a simple email a week to every single one of those superintendents that he has farmed and mined onto his list. And so he's doing content marketing, but he's just better than his competition. He doesn't have to be like the European champion of content marketing. He can play at Vauxhall Conference level and get much success because most of the other guys are playing in the Southern League.